Pop, 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 pass the popcorn. 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 Pass the popcorn.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, where we're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm your host, Carrie Jarasinski. This is Pass the Popcorn, where we share a little bit about what we've been watching and spend a little time, too, on a topic of our choice. Today's topic, the most pressing of all. Lots of people have asked me, have you murdered Rob? Where's Rob? Is Rob dead? Is he alive? We don't know. Lots and lots of questions. But today, we will be joined by a guest who will help solve that mystery. Today we have with us the smooth sounds of Robert Tadeusz Jarasinski. Welcome to the show, Rob.
You're not pointing at me.
Oh, I'm pointing at you with my eyes.
Oh, this is the signal. Okay.
This is the signal.
Hey y'all in alternate ending land. Long time no talk.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh,
I see what we're doing here. This is fun from this vantage point.
Is it?
It's almost like we've done a bit of a Halloween ends, and you're Corey in this situation.
I'm not 100% sure. 100%. This is going well as a host. Your anxiety is going to be through the roof as I
we're all good.
my way through this.
No, we're all good.
No.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Cast member from segment 1. I was feeling a little stressed.
Yeah.
Just kind enough to give me a little Xanax.
Oh.
Yeah, not just one, but I've got a couple extra doses.
So what you're saying to me right now is that while you were gone, you took medication that was not your own and ingested it into yourself that was not really meant for you.
It looked safe. It was in a plastic bag.
I am questioning this choice and I don't approve of this, but we will talk about this off the air because you're not supposed to do that, Rob.
I think it's totally fair game. You get it, in the throes of filmmaking, you do whatever it takes to balance yourself out.
Anybody that's listening, don't take that advice. Don't take that advice at all, please. Again, use nature, use walks, use your own prescribed medications.
I did use a little
for
nature.
You. Okay.
I shared some of the, when I was feeling a bit stressed, same person, we went to a petting zoo, just 20 minutes and just, animal therapy is the thing.
Yeah.
Like it definitely helped mellow it. Mostly the Xanax.
Okay.
But also like
petting animals.
5% animal petting.
That's great. Yeah. That's great, Rob. I'm glad you're really finding this balance because you have been gone for exactly 2 weeks of my life. I think it's the longest since our 16-year marriage. How long have we been married?
It's been a bit.
Okay. It's because neither of us know.
It's been 12 years.
12 years.
12 years. Yeah.
12 years. But again, if we both don't know, it's fine. I think this is the longest we've ever been apart.
Yeah, that tracks.
I want to tell you, in all honesty, on day 11, I missed you a little bit. But like a real miss.
Oh, was that when I rejected your phone call when you were calling me? That was
and then it turned to rage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, never mind. The feeling is gone.
So what happened is I don't know how to disconnect my phone ringer from my laptop. And you were calling when I was on set. And there's this thing that they do in movies where they're like, hey, quiet on set.
Oh, sure.
And then I saw the pop-up of your phone calling. And I didn't want to be that person to disrupt a take. People are pouring their hearts out into the film. And, having you ring in. Next time what I'll do is I'll just put you on speakerphone.
Sure.
And then have everybody shame you.
Yes. And you know that I love public shaming. It's why I'm a part of this podcast. So
you're used to it.
I'm used to it. So I have many questions for you. You got home last night. We purposefully almost had zero conversation about the happenings of the last couple of weeks because we did want to bring some of the most exciting elements of both of our weeks to you in this episode to chat through.
And there just wasn't time. I had no idea what was going on in your life. You just maybe from pictures knew what was going on the set of the film.
Yeah, but I was trying really hard not to bother you too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I think we both have grown in knowing that when the other person is with managing the household,
it's a lot.
They'll reach out to you.
Yep.
But the thing is, I also like to.
So I did, and then you didn't pick up.
Well, the one time.
Yeah, sure.
But I think counterpoint.
Sure.
Is I have small windows of time to chat as well too. So I think there just needs to be grace all around.
Yes, there is grace all around.
And
there is
Xanax.
grace
And Xanax
and
all
pets
around.
And deer and petting deer.
I pet a freaking deer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can. They're very tame. This is why I am highly opposed to eating venison, because they are extremely sweet and cute, and they really, really like you when they meet you.
I did pet a lot of animals that I eat.
Did you?
Yeah. I regret that.
Did that feel
now.
weird?
It did feel weird.
Yeah.
I felt like a little bit of an Avatar connection with them.
And then had pepperoni on your pizza.
Pepperoni pizza right after. Those pigs were fuckers, though. I was fine eating those.
Wow, you're picking up swears while you're on the set, too.
Petunia and Prince, or whatever their two names were. They were
nice.
They were assholes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were
really?
They were chomping at me.
Don't tell Alice.
Yeah. It's the mini potbelly that you need to go for. These ones were the full, like they had tusks. They were they were prehistoric.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were pigs, and they were more like they were warthogs.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, on that note, again, so many questions that I have for you. Do you want me to go in first with the most exciting happenings of the last 2 weeks, or do you want to share yours?
Oh, there was a world outside of the world that I was in?
I know, that's hard to believe.
It seems very unlikely. It felt very Rob-centric.
That's true. I can see where you would feel that way. I'm going to give you a few things. Yeah. Because there's far too much that happened while you were gone.
Let's set up a timeline, though. So I left on October 11th, which was a Monday. I went to work in Chicago for 2 days. On October 13th, which I believe was a Wednesday, flew out to Columbus, Ohio to do prep work for our second segment of Hauntology. And then the second segment really kind of started on the 15th of October. And then I just returned last night on the 22nd of October. So just so folks have a
little perspective of time.
So gone 11, 12
11,
days.
12, 20 days.
11 days, yeah.
Because again, so much happened on my end, I'm only going to allow you one story. Okay.
Do I get choices? I
know
you're really into.
I love choices. I know.
When this does happen, though, people go the direction that you didn't want.
I know.
So how are you going to steer me?
I'm not going to. There's no way. They're all. You
said that. You say that every time. You say that every time, and then when Tim picks the one that
he picked the wrong one that time.
He picks the wrong one.
I had such a good story, and I can't even remember what it was. He picked the most boring story. Yeah. I was so mad about that. I'm not going to steer you in any way, Rob. Okay, just go with your gut.
Closing my eyes.
Okay, I'm going to just say seance. Okay. Crying in front of our neighbors. How I handled Polish culture night. Crashing our car. Vacation with our kids.
What's that?
Or vacation with our kids.
No. The one. Well, okay. What?
So you get
those. I'd
those?
like crashing car, please, Alex, for 200. What?
It was, well, ding, ding, ding.
You mean is what happened to the car?
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you're taking this so well. So the reason why I decided to tell you about crashing our car.
You didn't decide to tell me. You've literally not told me.
That's true.
For 24 hours.
That's true.
And you're bringing it up in public now.
That's true. But I did think that you would take it better if you chose that option. And if you didn't choose this option, I've already told you. Was kind of my thinking.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so what about so if I pick something else, your expectation was after the podcast would be like, so I would say something like, hey, Care, so, thinking back to the podcast, what about that whole crashing the car business? Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I'm interested in, Care.
You're interested in that one?
Yeah, I'm interested in that one.
Here's where you get a double whammy. That one actually crosses over into crying in front of our neighbors.
Oh,
so
sure.
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer. So I made the right choice?
You did.
Oh,
for
good.
you. I mean, essentially.
Yeah. Seance sounds awesome.
Yeah. That was a good one too.
Yeah, I may need if there's any murders that happen following the story.
The story, yes.
A seance would be helpful in, being able to bring said person back from the dead.
Okay, so the car crash happened 7 to 8 days ago.
Well, you've been holding on to that.
I've been holding on to it.
That's why there's been less guilt, I think, this go around. I think
Oh, you know what?
You know what? Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's like, I've crashed the car, so I can't be a dick to Rob.
Sure.
I really hate him right now.
Sure.
But I also crashed the car. Yeah, I'd like to know more about the car crash.
Okay, let me just tell you what happened. Not totally my fault.
Never is. Never is.
Never is. So a couple days after you left, had a rough night's sleep. I want to lead in with that. Had a rough night's sleep. Dogs, 1 o'clock in the morning, that you're looking a little distressed. I'm going to get there to the story, Rob. I can tell. I'm going to stop making eye contact with you now. The dogs were up for like 4 or 5 hours in the night, maybe 6. I had a terrible night's sleep. They were barking. They were crying. I tried to put them into bed with me, just like you do with infants. It's always a bad idea. I needed to put them back downstairs, but I didn't. Then
were they the ones who drove the car? Is that pertinent to this discussion?
It's relevant to my fatigue.
Okay.
Okay, Rob. Okay. So then we get up in the morning. I'm angry about the dogs. We're out of coffee. 0 coffee in the house. I tried to find like some instant packs. Couldn't even find those. Out of coffee. Still fatigued. Then it was pajama day for Alice at school. Clearly pajama day. She comes down. I put her in her pajamas. She's very upset. She's crying hysterically because she thinks that I'm lying to her, that it's not really pajama day. Okay?
I am with you.
You're with me now. As you can imagine, all of these things are very...
Isn't it on the calendar?
Distressing.
Pajama day?
Yeah. She did not believe in the accuracy of my documentation on the calendar.
Do you blame her?
I don't.
There have been some missteps.
There have been some missteps.
That she's going to remember she's told you she will remember for life.
You're right.
Of some calendar missteps where we've missed some important milestones.
So she didn't believe me. I just want to point out I was right. It was pajama day.
Awesome.
But she's crying. It's been a hectic morning.
Sure.
So then what happens? I end up getting into the car. I pushed the button to open the garage. Mm-hmm. And then I backed out, but it was not, in fact, open. Mm-hmm. It was, in fact, very shut.
This explains a lot because I think I got a text from you like maybe a day or two ago where it was just very casual, like, hey, have you ever thought about, I don't know, you think we should get a new garage door? It's like, just kind of out of nowhere.
Oh, so you didn't connect the two at the time?
I just assumed that, we're currently in the process of updating parts of our house.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took it on face value. I did not think that you had crashed the car into the garage. We obviously made it through the garage last night. I didn't examine things closely.
I handled it, Rob. I handled it. I handled it. So let me tell you, this leads into my crying. I cried for at least 48 hours.
In the morning.
This is in the morning on the way to school. So now
you've already destroyed the garage, but you need to get the child to school.
And you know how I handled that?
Are you the person who ran over a child, and that's why they've changed the arrival instructions at elementary school?
You did talk about that in the pre-show, so that doesn't have context. But no, I did not. I couldn't get out of the garage. I immediately call our neighbor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Can you take my kids to school? Because my car is locked in the garage because it won't work.
They've had some interesting calls for help.
Yeah,
over
they have.
The years.
They have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So immediately, yes. Thank you. And then again, this is where the crying comes. I'm a service person. I'm immediately overwhelmed by how much people are helping me. So immediate action. One neighbor takes our kids to school. Other neighbors are coming over, trying to help me fix it. My dad comes over, tries to help me fix it. It's pretty bent. It's like off the tracks. And it's no longer attached. So long story short, so many people came in to help me, and I just felt so grateful. And so every time people would come to help me, I just kind of wept really weirdly.
Here's the text I received. I've got it pulled up now. This was 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
Hey, how are we on budget for year end? I'm considering getting a new garage door, but didn't know if we had room. Yeah. That is the way that you bring it up. It's amazing.
Hey
there. How are we on budget for year end? I don't know.
Just considering
curious.
Purchases.
Garage door would be something on my list that I'd like to get. What's crazy is I didn't read into it.
No.
Because I can spot some things, like when you ran off with the gas pump the one time. You're like, I did something. It was really stupid. I was like, oh, you ran off with the gas pump.
Still don't know how you knew that.
It's just that's what jumped right to mind.
You just knew.
That seems like a Carrie move.
Yeah. So very long story short, I handled it. I found literally an angel on earth. This guy comes over to our house, and I'm crying in front of the repairman who comes by because I'm just so grateful that he's at our house. We could not fix it. It was too damaged. He comes, he charges me $100.
Is this the gentleman whose name's like phone number is plastered on the garage door?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Oh, you know him?
I'm the one who hired him to fix the garage door last time when it like got off the track or whatever. Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, he's awesome. That's who I want to when we do get a new garage door. It seems like that's what's happening.
He said, we don't need it. We're fine.
Okay.
He's like, and I tried to bend it back. So he's like, I don't think Rob will ever know.
Oh, nice. Cat's out of the bag now.
Cat's out of the bag. And
you
handled this really well.
We should, for those in the Madison, Wisconsin area looking for a garage guy, we should put his details in the podcast
I Google reviewed that guy. Like the best review ever. He was like, wow, this was really nice. I was so appreciative. But again, the service and kindness of others when you're in duress is just
Did he also fix the car?
The car is fine.
Yeah. You say with a evil smirk.
There is nothing noticeable that you will notice about the car.
Oh, I'm just going to take a little peek.
I don't think you need to take
a little peek later.
I don't think you need to look too close,
So you were too impatient and you didn't let the garage door fully open and then you took it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did that look? Did you take some pictures? Because
no.
I think that would have been fun.
No.
You should have taken some pictures.
In the moment, I didn't feel like documenting it.
Was the garage door like laying on top of the car?
No. I basically just like pushed it out. So it was just sort of like.
Could you get out?
No.
Okay.
It was. That's why I had to call.
So you had to like pull back in real casually, real smoothly.
Really smoothly.
Oh, look at that! Huh?
Oh, yeah. So
our car was trapped in the garage.
Yes.
So you couldn't take the kids to school.
That's
all making lots of sense.
Yeah, I can see you piecing it together now. And
sorry that early clue that you gave me on text didn't set it off.
Didn't connect all the the threads for you. Well, I've shared it with you now, and now I can feel absolved of my guilt. And thanks for listening.
Oh, we're done with the podcast?
No.
Was this like
that was way? That was my thing.
Was this a way of just safely documenting in case you were murdered? Like,
yes.
Okay. So now it's like out there in the public.
My address will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
And
text.
If you don't hear from me in 24 hours,
you know what happened. Yes.
You know what happened. Thanks for your patience and not seeming completely. You look a little irritated.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely holding back, but again, that Xanax is
helping.
Really,
it's good. I slipped an extra one in your tea too. Yeah. So, for you, Rob, I would love to know. Similarly, I know so much happened for you over the last couple weeks.
No garage door.
No,
have been destroyed in the process of making this film. Yeah.
There had to have been some ups and downs. It's so much.
Yes, there were.
Can you articulate for me, like, the best thing? Like, what's like the thing that comes to mind?
Let me just do a quick apples to apples. So we had a very successful first segment back in August. Couldn't have gone better.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly challenges, like mostly for me, adapting to long hours.
Yeah, you don't like that.
I don't.
You're in bed by 10 every day.
And because I feel, as I am, responsible for the success of the film largely, I don't, it's last one to bed, first one up.
Mm-hmm.
And so
what time is that?
So for this segment, it was up by 8 in the morning usually.
You're an early bird though.
And then, that's no problem. But then bed by 4 or 5 in the morning.
Did you get to take your nap?
There were a few naps had for 45 minutes, and they were rejuvenating, like little 45-minute naps. Thankfully, we had this was a 5-day shoot compared to a 3-day shoot. In August, it was a home court advantage, so we were at Parker's family's ghost town, which they own. So there was the benefit of those types of things. Much more single location day shooting. This was a whole other level of complexity. We had 6 total cast members, which included our stunt coordinator, Rick Feig, who's just amazing. Great having Rick on set. But we were on a private residence, not a private residence. We were on a wonderful place that I recommend everybody go to in the Hocking Hills area of Ohio called the Inn at Cedar Falls. We had 3 lodges, all somewhat near each other, and then we had cast over at the proper inn resort area. But all of those places were about 20, 30 minutes away. So there was a lot more logistics, and then we introduced the complexity of night shooting. What we didn't fully plan for, I guess, is the weather.
Rain, cold.
Yeah, right now it's a balmy 70 degrees in Ohio. But when we were the early days of shooting, in the first couple of days, it was upper 30s at night, and then on the big night where a lot of things happen, it dipped down into freezing. And the night before, we were trying to reconfigure people's schedules and seeing if there's a way we can move, because it was going to be 10 degrees warmer every day following that.
But don't you want it to be cold so that it's extra spooky, so you can get like the mist, breath mist?
All of that stuff happens in post typically, or through other means like a dry ice machine or fog machine or something like that. You don't wish for cast and crew to be frozen solid. So we were really concerned, especially waking up on the day of that shoot when it was sleeting. And so cold's one thing, but being wet and cold, whole other ball game. So there was a lot of stress and concern right in the middle of the week, topping it off with 2 COVID scares for the Screen Actors Guild, which kind of sets the rules. They're the most conservative, so you follow those rules more so than, because if you're following those rules, those guilds rules, all of the other guilds are not as strict, so you're covered. And they still have very strong COVID testing protocols and guidelines. So we test for pre-employment before folks arrive with a PCR test, which is the more the more accurate test. It's testing for more things, and then daily antigen tests. We initially had a scare with a false positive, thankfully, but it was someone we couldn't lose.
Sure.
And we really needed it, and we had already kind of assumed that it was not going to come back. The subsequent tests were going to come back positive as well too, but thankfully they were negative, and we were able to keep that very important person on set. Sadly, we did lose another crew member to COVID, and
they died.
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying it. When I say it like that, no, they did not die.
You just said we lost a crew member.
We lost the crew member to COVID, meaning like that they were no longer. We had to quarantine them and move them off set.
You need to think of a different way to say that.
I will work on that.
You have to say we booted this infected person.
We just kicked their ass off the set. No, we made sure that they were safe and sound and were able to return home safely. But yeah, that was a lot. So it's in that game, it's next person up, like who steps up to fill that, that particular role. And it's not something where, someone can slip into their shoes.
Yeah. Well, and especially with a tiny crew like you have.
And as small as we are, it's a 30-person set.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people, but we're still a small crew. What's truly amazing, and I hope folks from the cast and crew listening, is I don't know the math on it, but my understanding is being able to do over 20 shots, and each shot can have over 100 setups, camera setups. Within each camera setup, you can have multiple shots, but to have over 100 setups within 5 days, so more than 20 setups a day, is operating at a level of like a high budget film.
So how do you account for that? Just super efficient? Everybody's
just working really hard.
Yeah.
Everybody's pitching in. It's not just what I can do for my department. It's how can I help other departments? And hey, that's the culture I'm familiar with. And you're, in the corporate environment is more so now, that very supporting now, but that is still an environment that is somewhat being built in filmmaking. It seems like there's a lot of people who have shared that, being very grateful and thankful for the culture that we're creating on set. And to me, it's just
human
kindness. And but apparently it's novel, and there isn't a lot of that happening on film sets. A lot of old Hollywood kind of mentality where yelling and making people feel small and hierarchy is still the way 99.9% of movies are being filmed. So, and I think
we don't like that.
No, we don't like that. And I think the reason why that has existed and continues to exist is there's a fear of trying it a different way and it not things not working. There's a lot of pressure, it's all financial pressure that's happening. So, I can understand why there could be a feeling of I need to resolve this by yelling. But I think you and I have experienced this in corporate America, is you can get more out of individuals by just being kind.
Yeah. I've never been yelled at work.
Yeah.
Or yelled.
Can you imagine?
No.
The stories that folks have shared are shocking.
It's
and what's interesting is filmmaking generally is a very like adaptable and erring on the side of like you would think the people that make films kind of have that mindset, but I guess not. So
not when money's involved.
So those were the big things. Those
were the downs.
The big downs. Okay. that happened. But tell
me something else. Tell me, what was the funniest? What was the thing that you had tears in your eyes laughing? Funniest thing that happened? Yeah,
one of the kind of, I would say, perks for me has been being able to spend, it's both cast and crew, but I because we don't have enough resources to do it, I have the pleasure of being able to drive cast around from their locations to set and back, and then ultimately to the airport. And whenever I've had the chance to have quiet moments, and it's not just with cast, but more smaller group settings, it's just a great time. And everybody's kind of relaxed and cutting loose. I would say one of the fun highlights for me was just being able to spend the last day as we returned cast to airport. So just a lot of funny people, really talented people.
Who was the funniest person?
I know what you're doing.
I know you know. So just give it to me. Give it to me.
I think we would all agree that Gil Zabarski.
I wanted you to just say Gil Zabarski.
Jacob was a treat on set. And for me personally, just really my brand of humor. Yeah. I'm not going to go out there. Your
eyes are lighting up right now just saying his name. Yeah. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Is a funny guy.
Rob gets off the airplane and into the car and is immediately just doing all these like bits. Like it's like late at night. He's just like trying to be funny, like doing all these bits.
Let's
like
not say trying. Let's say succeeding. Yeah. Let's say fulfilling.
And you're like, I have my friend Gil Zabarski. He's so funny, and I'm just trying to really like harness him because I was like, "What are you doing?"
It wasn't just Gil. Like we have a ton of like everybody's funny, and I mean Naomi Grossman is hilarious. Like that is her. Sure. Those are her roots is comedy. I had the pleasure of being able to take her back to the airport, and we had a bunch of errands and mishaps. Actually, our first evening with Gil, Naomi, our wonderful talent Zoe Luna and Ace Rosas, we got lost. It was a 20-minute drive to their lodging, and it took us 2 hours to get there.
Oh my gosh.
Lesson learned is, as talented as Naomi is, not the best
with directions.
Navigator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are like, you find it really hard to get out of a paper bag.
I am dependent on navigation.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be safe, so I'm not holding my phone driving in the rolling hills of. But Zoe's hilarious, Ace is hilarious, and then oh my gosh, our crew, Joe, and I mean, there's so many funny people present.
You don't want to zero in on it, but at the end of the day, it's Gil.
For me personally.
For you personally.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
I've seen him in some things, and he is very funny in his acting performances as well. That he's the type of actor that I can tell his brand of humor translates into real life. Like that's who you are in real life, and I can see that.
For sure.
And who did you say would be his best friend?
So funny enough, I guess they weren't lying to us. Both our segment one, two of our segment one cast members, Abby Asmina and Aubrey Bowen, were kind enough to return. It wasn't just out of the kindness of their heart. We kind of screwed up the posters that we have made, and so we needed to have them re-sign them. Mm-hmm. So we thought, but you know what? Let's do two birds kind of situation. Bring them back. Have the fun that we had with segment one. Bring their personalities back. I got a lot of time with both Abby, but mostly Aubrey, and just such a delight.
I was baiting you again.
Okay, did I go the wrong way?
And I thought you were going to say me.
That you're the funniest person who was on set?
No. Oh. That you said that Gil and I would be best friends.
Oh, no.
No, you said that earlier.
You would be best.
Well, I would like him.
You would. I think you'd be fine. Yeah,
I think I would enjoy him.
You two would enjoy one another's company.
I think so too.
I think that I don't think you quite understand the level of humor.
Yeah.
However,
I'd be out of my range.
I think you'd be stretching.
Okay.
Yeah, you might pull some humor muscles. Yeah.
I'd feel pressure.
Yeah, there would be a lot of pressure.
Okay. I don't feel that ever around here. I think that's the main thing. So
yeah, it's more of a sit back and just enjoy. Enjoy the dynamic.
And just hope that you can get one in there.
But it was just bantery. It was just bantery between the entire cast and then the crew as well too. Like just so much.
And that's the best
There's so many
part.
funny, clever people.
Yeah.
Because many of the folks in our crew are writers, are directors, are like just have talent. And to see just the all of these creative people in one place, it's gonna bring out fun behavior,
good energy.
Yeah. And that was the thing that I'm really proud of, continuing that streak of that the good juju.
Yeah.
There. But yeah, as far as the film itself goes, I can't describe. I sadly miss out on a lot of the actual filming, so I'm not seeing what's on screen. Go ahead. Yeah, that's perfect segue.
So I've gotten this question from a few people because I've been telling people kind of like what I think you're up to based on the pictures, kind of what I know. And you are wearing many hats as a producer on this movie. And the feedback that I've gotten from folks is like, that's not really a producer's job, or like, don't producers do nothing? And yet, if I could add to the list of things that I heard you doing, you were scrambling eggs. You were driving people everywhere.
Let's not forget my hash browns that went with those.
You made the hash browns and turkey bacon perfectly, as I've heard it from you. But you also are doing grocery shopping. You're doing like carrying set pieces around. You're doing all this stuff. Like, how far are you away, or how did you establish that you were going to be doing all of these things in the role that you have for this?
That's a great question. I think there's a misconception. Now, there isn't a misconception. I am playing both the role of executive producer on this film, and generally what that means is the person who is paying for it. But we have about 12 executive producers. But I'm also playing the role of producer, which generally is someone who is hired and gets you get some back end related perks if the movie is successful. But the job of the producer, in my estimation, again, I'm a first time filmmaker, is I fill the void. Wherever the void is, whatever is needed to make the film great. I can't tell you what those things are in the moment, but when something is needed, that is when I feel like it is my call to answer that.
Okay.
Because we are, with a small budget, it's all about trade-offs. Yeah, we don't have every possible crew personnel that we need. So it's, hopefully I can help augment the crew and do the things that we don't have.
You're like the loose end man.
I am, and that's, I think you know me after the 16 years of marriage that you think we've been married. After the 12 years that we've been together, that is like my dream. Yeah. Like, I want to be called on to go next door and tell the neighbors to shut the hell up because we're filming.
Right.
Like, give me tasks to do. Like, who's going to do that? We don't have, don't worry. I can do that.
You like to problem solve. Yeah.
I love it.
And not the other end of this that is also probably fueling your soul right now is you are most energized when people appreciate you.
Yeah.
And when you get positive affirmation. And so I can imagine that like a producer, if you are jumping out of the norm of what all of these people are used to in their experiences, where it's some like loser sitting around in a comfy chair or smoking a cigar or whatever their experience has been.
Don't get me wrong, I did those things.
Oh, I know. But after you scrambled their eggs for them, I think it's probably like more impressive to them because they've set a bar in their mind of what you should be doing. And then when they see you running around, I'm sure they're like, thank you so much. And you're getting that feeling fed for you too as a part of it.
It's a problem. It's my cocaine.
I know it is.
Yeah. So what they're going to get from me, and it's this snake eating its tail situation, is they're giving me that, which is what I
crave.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, must have not got it enough as a child.
We know that.
And I work even harder for them to give, hopefully. But again, like, the things that I am doing are filling holes. They are the crew and the cast are the ones who are making this thing and making it incredible. I think what I'm doing is easy comparatively. Like, sure, first one up, last one to bed, in most cases. But during the actual filmmaking process, they have to be at such a high level of focus. If I screw up scrambled eggs, no big deal.
I mean,
the pressure for them
kind of a big deal.
I mean, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I did screw up the scramble. No, I didn't. My eggs turned out I don't understand how I made eggs for 30 people with limited pans. And it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
I'd love feedback
I
on
think
if you hear about my eggs.
your eggs are a little wet for me.
And a little moist.
Don't say it.
Yeah, they gush a bit.
See, I give you one bit of feedback and you just start slinging.
Those are some callbacks.
Those are some low blows.
Those are some
low
callbacks.
blows.
No. So I will give you my secret to the eggs is I did I took them off heat.
Yep.
Because eggs will continue to cook.
That's right.
A little longer. So I took them off heat at their slightly runny.
Yeah.
Threw them in the aluminum pans, covered them, and then
they were perfect.
Well, because I had to make it was 48 eggs.
Yeah. That
went into this batch.
I think you need 60. Doesn't everyone eat 2 eggs?
It worked out well. We had we have some vegans that we're accommodating.
Okay.
We have yeast-free folks. Like it's accommodating a lot of different palates.
Okay.
And that's the thing is like at the end of the day, my job is to make sure everybody has what they need to be successful.
And you like when everybody else is happy and successful.
It's the perfect marriage of what I look for to be fulfilled.
That's great. That's why I was a little worried that you weren't going to come home because I know that you don't often get that in your home life. So I thought, like, what if he just stays
it's your least
so
favorite
hard.
thing to give affirmation genuinely.
It's
like
so
I see
hard.
like your mouth like trying to form the words and it's like a struggle.
I don't know why.
I appreciate you. And for everybody else, it is so genuine coming from them. Like they might be lying to me. They're selling it though.
I don't think they're lying, but I don't think I don't know. I don't think they're lying. I'm sure that it's everything in me wanted to just be like, here is why some of it wasn't true. Again, I don't think they were lying to you, Rob. I think they appreciate you and all that you do.
We could have a good therapy sesh on why it's I mean, I think I know why I crave it.
Yeah.
But why you're so withholding.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have an easy time doing it. Like I said, I left the Google review for the Garage Man and was just called him an angel. And I was like, I'm so appreciative of you. Like, thank you so much. So again, it must be, it's something we should explore.
Yeah, we should explore that in therapy.
We will. But
November 11th.
When's
our next sesh?
Gosh, I think it's November 11th.
Is that all right?
I don't know. I'll have to look at the calendar, which is 50% accurate.
Then I can then I can fill my Xanax prescription too.
We just have all the things to do, Rob.
Yeah.
Lots to do. So thanks for sharing with me a little bit about that. We're flipping it a little bit today and we'll head to our break. And when we come back, we will talk about our worth mentioning. But before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You can get early access, exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. You can also join at the $5 level our movie club. And Rob, I don't even know if you know this, but coming up on October 30th, we're going to be watching as a group Unfriended.
I heard about this, and I mean, I wasn't going to show up, but
What?
I'm just joking. I was going to show up regardless, but now I'm carving out the time because that's a movie I want to. That's a great group watch movie.
Yeah. It came to us. So I threw it out there in the Discord, the AE Discord. Everyone was like, "How are there any other choices other than Unfriended?" So that is the one that we went with. So we'll be watching that on October 30th. But beyond that, would love for you to join our Patreon. You can also support us through Amazon. And one day when Rob is hosting this, you will also find all of the things. It's going to be like a 30-minute segment on Amazon, but we will get there on our next episode that we have coming up next Monday. So when we get back, we'll be talking about the movies or shows that we've been watching since last we met.
Carrie, you and I try to stay healthy, right?
I try to exercise most days. I eat a lot of egg whites and kale until about 4 p.m. And then I'm just chips and dip until bedtime.
Same. And like you, Care, packing all the healthy stuff in meals to try to reach my goals hasn't worked. And, I hate taking vitamins and pills. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, Athletic Greens AG1 has the answer. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy recovery, focus, and aging. All the things.
But here's the thing. It sounds great, but it also sounds like it tastes kind of healthy.
No, it actually tastes great, not healthy. It has a tropical flavor that makes me think of our upcoming trip to the Caribbean. And it will leave you feeling more alert and clear during the day. Also helps you get your Z's.
You know I can use all those things, but Rob, you also know I'm a little bit cheap. So how much would something like this set us back?
Care, it's cheap enough even for you.
Whoa!
AG1 is less than $3 a day, so you're investing in your health instead of that cold brew habit.
Okay, all right. Sign me up.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/emerging. That's EMERGING. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/emerging to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And welcome back to Alternate Ending, where we're here talking about the TV. I'm adding in TV because for me it is TV this week, or the movies that we've seen since last we met. Rob, you've been gone for 2 weeks. Have you been able to catch any shows, any movies that you can share with us?
It is Halloween month, Care.
It is.
So yes, I made time. I was going to have my follow the tradition of I've gone on a date with our neighbor Billy for all of the new Halloween films.
He loves that.
And I was going to save that opportunity to go to theaters to see Halloween Ends. And, you know, I was a little excited prior to the start of filming. And I was with Parker, our writer-director, at their house. And we were looking for, just a way to relax one evening. So we ordered some Chinese food. And I was just, you know what? Let's watch the Halloween Ends together.
Yeah.
I'll go back with
Billy.
With
I
Billy
won't tell
to
Billy.
see it in theaters. And I understand that you all talked a little bit about it. I haven't had a chance to listen to the episode, but oh my God, was it garbage.
Yeah, that's what Tim said.
It was, minus the opening, which was hilarious. And Parker and I were just
Did Parker also
looking
think
at
it was
each other.
terrible?
Oh yeah, we were normally in a, as you're watching a movie, you're not hate watching it. And, it's just every choice was, we needed to pause and talk to ourselves for saying what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And we just didn't understand what was happening in
Brennan
this film.
and Tim both, I hadn't seen it. So Brennan and Tim were both just going and taking it to task with just worst experience that they've ever had. And Tim shared that the man in the mask, you know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I'm asking you his name.
Oh, it's Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Isn't Michael Myers Austin Powers?
That's Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I believe his formal name would probably be Michael.
He said there were only 7 minutes of Mike Myers.
I didn't take out the timer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a problem.
That makes no sense to me.
That's a problem.
That's the main focal point of the movie, and then to not have him in there.
They were really shooting for a message movie.
Yeah.
That did not track, nor did I want. Nobody wanted.
No one wanted.
I don't think anybody wants.
You just wanted to be scared.
And it's very upsetting because David Gordon Green, who directed this in the prior two, the prior two were good. We were building towards something, and it's Jamie Lee Curtis's last.
That's the upsetting.
That's so
part.
frustrating. And oh my gosh, what the hell is she doing?
That's what I'm wondering.
No, in the film, as far as the character she is playing is not the character that I'm familiar with. I don't know if that was brought up.
It was. We talked about that a little bit too. But why she sees the script, she sees how bad this is going to be. Why is she doing it?
So possible explanation, again, not there, is she may not have known how it all came together. A lot of it can be editing and could be audience feedback. And then they go back and try to do a couple of reshoots or tweak some things in the editing. The way the script was, maybe the script was fine. What's sad is we may never know.
Yeah.
Is what the root cause is of how did we get to this version? Is there a world, but that said, is there a world in what they were trying to say, which I think it's fairly clear what they were trying to say. Is there a world in which that is a good movie? And I would say to you, when you have Michael Myers, use Michael freaking Myers.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think that they were really trying to pass the torch, which is upsetting.
Yeah.
Or spend most of the time with Michael Myers, and the torch passing can happen in like 5. Give the torch pass 7 minutes, not the other way around. And it's such an upsetting film.
Yeah,
and
Tim was mad, like really, really mad.
And I'm not even the horror expert like Brennan and Tim are, so I can't imagine what they were. I was horrified. I was putting myself in their shoes, and the horror community's shoes, and I was livid.
Yeah.
Like so upset.
So we did talk about this one last week. So we've gotten lots of feelings on it. Did you see anything else?
I did. I had an opportunity with fellow producer of Hauntology, Catherine Clark. We're working on a couple of additional projects. And so anytime I travel to Chicago, we try to meet up for dinner and
Does she talk about me?
Business. Oh, do you two know each other?
Catherine is one of my first friends.
Oh.
She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But she is one of my first friends.
First versus best, right? I mean, that's the difference between the two of us and Catherine.
Did she tell you that? Did she
I think it's pretty clear.
I think so too. Because she doesn't even tell me anymore when she hangs out with you. So I don't even hear about it. She just goes out and gets to hang out and have fun with you.
We had Catherine, and Catherine's partner, Stephen, was kind enough to join along. We still get press screening tickets and opportunities, but this one was not that. We paid money, which was a little bit of. I put Catherine in a complicated situation because she didn't want to support David O. Russell, but there was nothing else that I wanted to see. There was nothing else worth.
I want to be fair. Until literally just today, you also hadn't seen the David O. Russell video.
Yeah.
Until I shared it with you. Your face while you were watching that video, if I could have done a reaction video on it, would have been amazing. You looked completely mortified.
Yeah.
As you should.
That's
really bad.
One of the most awful things. And granted, 18 years, when did that come out? I Heart Huckabees,
2004.
did we say? Yeah. So 18 years ago, the fact that that just leaked, or that people worked with in that environment. This is a perfect kind of bookend to our earlier discussion. This is how sets are.
So weird.
And like people just are quiet about it.
For context, for folks who have not seen this video, like Rob hadn't,
put it in the show notes. Put a link in the show notes.
I don't even want people to watch it. It's too upsetting.
I think they need to see how toxic a film set could be from the top. That's what happens.
It looks as though in the video that they're acting. Like it feels like it's like, and go, and that it's acting. And then suddenly you realize like, oh no, these people are really serious. Basically, David O. Russell, who is the director of
I Heard Huckabees, in the film that I saw, Amsterdam, with
Catherine. Which I want to hear about because I had that on my anticipated list before I had seen the video for the movies I was excited about for fall. Yeah, Tim and I talked about that.
It's
He's like, have you seen the video? I'm like, what video? I don't even know who David O. Russell is.
Great performance.
But I did go. So if you haven't seen the video, don't look at it, but maybe do. It's basically David O. Russell and Lily Tomlin, and they're having...
Who's a treasure.
Yeah.
Who's a treasure of film...
Of Hollywood treasure and all the things. She's upset. She's mad, for sure.
She's earned the right, in my estimation, to question things.
Sure.
And so she's questioning a couple things.
Questioning some things, and then...
As one would to the director.
To the director.
And writer.
Correct.
Saying, hey, I don't really... Can you help? And I'll be honest, happened on our set, not but just hey, help me understand my character in this situation. Does this make sense? And then they have and
you hugged it out.
No, and then Parker destroyed them, and we filmed it.
He sweared and called them the B word, and the C word, and the D word.
The video will be coming out shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, there's no
excuse for that kind of behavior in any culture, any work culture, let alone just human culture. So it's super overwhelming to watch. So which is why I kind of then had a second thought about actually supporting or seeing the movie too. But you did. So tell me about Amsterdam.
Amsterdam is a larger or stranger than fiction, true, like semi-true story of. Well, actually, I don't want to. Do I care if I spoil this?
Yeah, don't spoil it.
All right, I won't spoil it. There's a group of friends who meet following World War I, and kind of an odd couple or odd triple. I don't know what the proper term would be of John David Washington, Margot Robbie, and Christian Bale. I mean, just saying those three names out loud.
Smoke shows.
Well, yeah, beyond their appearance.
Oh, yes.
Just
also good actors.
Some of the most talented people we have working today. And Christian Bale is just crushing it. Has his own video, by the way, of but nothing like that of what we've described with David O. Russell, where someone got in Christian Bale's eye line and he lays into this poor PA. Probably not awesome. So no surprise that Christian's working with David. And has worked with David O. Russell in the past, but it is, and I don't know the timing, if the video surfaced after the cast had already signed on. It is surprising that people would want to work with David O. Russell after seeing that. That said, this oddball kind of group of folks who've made a pact to be friends forever or whatever, John David Washington and Christian Bale's characters get involved in a murder. Not that they've committed, but they get blamed for it. And so it's kind of like unwinding this mystery of what happened, why it happened, and bringing this group of friends together and working together to kind of solve it. It is a star-studded cast. Beyond that, we have Taylor Swift in here, blanking on some other.
And you're a Swiftie.
I am a Swiftie. She was great. She was great on screen. Yeah. I liked seeing her in the 1930s.
She has outfit. That vibe already. Like she looks kind of like a 1930s Barbie doll. So I feel like she could pull it off. How does it all come together though? It
is boring, extremely well acted. I've been hit or miss on David O. Russell's work. I'm not a fan of I Heart Huckabees. I love Three Kings. I love
Silver Linings Playbook. Did
Silver
you say
Linings.
That?
I do enjoy Silver Linings Playbook. American Hustle is fantastic to me. And then there's the boxing film that you have it maybe pulled up in front of you.
$1 Million Baby?
No, don't try.
Don't try.
Don't
okay.
try.
I got a whole lot of
but
it's
the Mark Wahlberg one. People are yelling at their.
Oh, I know it. No, I know it.
You haven't seen it.
No, I have seen it. I have it on DVD.
What?
Is he a bartender?
No.
Oh.
No. Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on.
So I'm
so kind of pass on it.
Hot and cold on it.
Aside from even just
there's just
avoiding the director.
There's just odd directing, and it's just not a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Like the performances are great. Christian Bale's doing what
he does.
Has tapped in method into whatever this character whose eye was lost during World War II and has some post-traumatic stress, and just rocking it. And then Margot's doing some fun, great work, odd direction, boring writing. Like as far as plot goes, like I just don't care. Oh, Rami Malek, Oscar-winning.
Oh yeah,
Oscar winner Rami
James
Malek.
Bond.
Yes, also James Bond.
Yes.
So just great performances. Oh, there's another person in here.
The girl from the hotel movie.
The hotel movie.
Do you remember the movie with the girl in a hotel and she goes back in like time warps back and forth? You do know this.
Sure. I'd rather you just say her name than try to describe.
Oh, Rob, you can't have me do that.
But she's in the Queen's Gambit star. I don't have anything in front of me. And
I know
I'm
you
tired.
don't. And it's going to drive me insane until
Anya Taylor-Joy.
That is who it is.
I think is her name. Now I'm just confused by what movie you're describing.
You know the one where she jumps back and forth in time and there's kind of like a haunted hotel? Rob, we saw this together and then the hotel lights on fire.
Oh, it's not a haunted hotel. Are you talking about the Mutants movie, the New Mutants?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Last Night in Soho.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is in that. It's not a haunted hotel.
It is a hotel.
It's not a haunted hotel at all.
Whatever. You knew what I meant.
No, I didn't.
I meant.
I absolutely did not know what you meant at
Everybody
all.
Was screaming into their cars.
It's no one's going to see this movie. It might do decent on streaming because people might be interested in the cast. Nobody went to go see this $80 million movie.
Jeeber creepers.
It does not justify its existence. I don't understand. I don't know what David O. Russell has lined up after this. He's going to go in director's jail. No, he won't go to jail. Yeah. He's going to go into director's jail, which probably for him is worse.
Probably so.
As a
we just want
person.
him to get whatever the worst thing is. Speaking of Jeeber creepers.
Nobody mentioned Jeeper Creepers
I sent that a while ago. I said it 10 minutes ago. Speaking of it.
What? Did you watch the new Jeepers Creepers?
No. Oh. I did watch, though, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Okay.
With the girls.
I think I would have rather you watched the new Jeepers Creepers. Yeah, Jeepers Creepers.
Well, I didn't. So it was a cold night. It was brisk out.
It was cold and dark.
I had a pumpkin beer. I had one pumpkin beer. And we got all the blankets out. And I was like, let's freak ourselves out. So we watched the whole series. We binged Are You Afraid of the Dark? Did you watch this as a kid?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. Was it a Nickelodeon thing?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was. So we watched the one, they did sort of a reboot of it in 2019. And
Is that what you're watching, or you're watching the classics?
Well, we binged those, and then we went back to the classics.
Holy mackerel. How, like a season? How much
there were only 3 available with the newer season. So we went and watched those. The girls loved it. So if you haven't seen the new ones, I do recommend seeing it. I think there's some nostalgia to the old ones, but the new ones definitely are super creepy. Not creepy enough that the kids were like, can't sleep, but enough that they were like, hiding under the blankets, like the right level of creepy. But anyway, so we ended up watching 3 episodes of the new ones and then couldn't get enough. So we started going back to the old ones. There was some chatter in the Discord about this, and like people are a little leery of, should I go back and watch the original ones again? Because what if they don't hold up? Like our childhood is built on a foundation that those are the scariest things that's ever existed. So to confirm Abby's comment on...
Yeah, I'd like to know their input on this.
Yeah, so they loved the newer ones. Abby is at a stage where her empathy is really high. Well, both of our kids have really high IQs. Emotional EQs.
That would be an E. IQs.
Yeah, but we're worried about the EQs. She wanted to make sure that she liked it because she knew it was important
that's sweet.
To me,
it's a lot of pressure to put something. This is something that's my favorite thing of all time.
Right.
You should, and it's worked so far. Indiana Jones, success.
Yeah. Like Mighty Ducks, success. Mrs. Doubtfire, success. So we watched it. She did make a couple comments that it felt very 80s. She was like, this feels old.
Sure. I think it was made in the 90s.
It was made in the 90s, but like she kept saying like, oh, this has a real 80s vibe, Mom, but it's cool.
So were the new ones just higher production value and quality?
Yes, okay. I'd say so. Yeah. So we watched a couple of the older ones. I will say I need to go deeper because the episodes that I watched were a little hokey and I don't remember them being hokey. So I just want to put it out here. I'm going to continue through binging the older ones and get to the ones that I think really did creep me out. The first couple that I watched were not super creepy.
I don't remember. Sadly, it didn't make an indelible like mark on me. Like if you ask me to describe an episode of Are You Afraid of Her, I've got nothing. I've got no story that is there a story that really like for you is locked in your memory? Thanks.
I feel like there was one with a gumball machine that really freaked me out. I just remember in general it being
sounds terrifying.
It's I mean it was at the time. Really, frankly, every time that match would just light, like the intro to it already just creeped me out. So I just want to put it out here. I would say if you were a lover of the originals, it's worth probably going back for some fun and spending some time with them. I don't think it will ruin the experience for you.
Okay.
But I've been watching that and I'm going to continue it with the girls. When they get home tonight from Grandma and Grandpa's, I am going to watch a couple episodes if you would like to join us.
I would love to. I want to make one more plug before we wrap, and that's for Queer for Fear. You and I started watching that too. It's kind of in between timing wise. We started watching that before I left. So it's, but I haven't been on one of the podcasts. So I don't know if you've mentioned Queer for Fear.
I haven't yet. No.
So wonderful on Shudder docuseries about how the queer community founded horror. Mm-hmm. It was by the queer community for the queer community. And it was just there's all of these coded things that have happened since the origin of horror, and it's fascinating. It makes really strong arguments that is the case, and it makes me proud too that as I think about it with Hauntology, is we're in a better place where we don't have to code it, right? Like the queerness of our film, and we don't even have to talk. Like we don't have to hide it, and nor do we have to like hit people over the head. It's just we can be present. It can just be something that exists.
Yeah. Can you say the name of it again?
Yeah, sure. It's Queer for Fear. It's on Shudder, and we're lucky enough to not only have Zoe Luna, who was just in this last segment, be interviewed in episode 3. Nave Ever, who is a co-producer on it, is one of the artists that we're going to be using some of their work for the third segment of Hauntology.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. It's been really interesting to just see. You're going to have a lot of aha moments, like, oh. Like, I would never have thought about the metaphor of Frankenstein in that way. And it's funny because Tim for years has been like probably quietly making fun of me for all the things that I miss in this. Like, I don't see the subtext. It's not built for people. It's built. I want it to be built for me to see, but it hasn't been in the past. Like, I haven't seen all of the subtext, or I haven't, like, all the things you guys were talking about with like Nightmare on Elm Street and all of the sort of like things that Freddy represented and all of that stuff. Like, I didn't see that as a viewer. And what I really like about this docuseries is it unravels a lot of the metaphors, the subtext, all of that, and you're like, oh,
it makes perfect sense.
It's of course, like Psycho.
Duh.
Like, it talks a lot about, like, you know, closeted people, and then what happens when people don't feel like they can express themselves, and
cross-dressing in Psycho.
Yes.
Just transformation, werewolf. You know, not feeling comfortable in your own skin.
You feel kind of silly when you're like,
it is. It is like,
I should have probably.
I'm an idiot.
I didn't. Yeah. But quietly have that moment yourself. I encourage you to quietly have that I'm an idiot moment yourself, and just enjoy it and watch it and really educate yourself on the history of horror. I think it's super intriguing and interesting.
And that it goes back to the beginning. And
it's like Mary Shelley,
really the founder of horror, as we know it. Kind of trying to find ways to express themselves in a way that where they weren't, folks, the queer community wasn't allowed to exist, and be persecuted. But it goes, beyond that. Oscar Wilde, and it's just there's all
goes
of
on
these,
and on and on.
So I just wanted to make a little plug for Queer for Fear.
Well, thanks. And thanks for making some time for me.
Yeah, see you in like a year.
See you in a year.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed catching up with you, and hopefully we can do this again soon. And thank you for confirming the episode's topic of today, which is that you are, in fact, alive.
I am alive. I'm going to go check on the car now in the garage. How's that sound?
Let's not.
Let's. That's all I've been wanting to do.
So in closing, thank you guys for joining us. Go out to social media, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Alternate Ending, where you'll catch all of our reviews, articles, updates, and you can go out and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. And don't forget about Patreon, or leave a review too on this podcast. Next week will be very spooktacular. We'll be coming to you with one of our top 5 Halloween episodes. The topic should be out on the site early this week, so make sure to get out there and drop your top 5s, and we'll catch you next time.